Hello, welcome to episode 22 of Nicolo's World Podcast. I am your host, Nicole. I would like to say welcome to new and returning viewers. And if you are new, thank you so much for taking the time to check me out. How is everybody? I hope well. I hope everybody's week that was and this week is going pretty good. Yeah, if you can see, I am in another location in my living room. I'm trying out sitting on my couch today because we're actually getting some gorgeous, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm getting some gorgeous natural light coming in because it is sunny. So I'm hoping that helps. I figured since it seems to be getting nice, I'd try some natural lighting for a change. Okay, anyways. We have some administrati, some finished objects, some works in progress, so let's get into it. Alright. I will go over it again. For those of you that watch me on iTunes, or if you're new and you want to check me out on iTunes, what's happening is you're going to see two little badges, two little logos for my podcast. One has one with people throwing sand that says Nicolo's World Podcast, and it just shows episode 20. I'm sorry, it shows episode 21 or possibly 22. And then there's a second badge with a swirl of sand with blue writing that says Nicolo's World Podcast. That is the one you want to subscribe to. It's the second one with the multicolored sand with the blue writing that says Nicolo's World Podcast. I recently changed hosting sites for podcasts to Soundgarden. Not Soundgarden, excuse me, that's a band. To Podcast Garden. Oh my god, I don't know where I got Soundgarden from. But I am now using Podcast Garden. I am completely happy with it. I am actually loading all my old episodes from episode 1 to current episode 22. What I'm going to do is by the end of this week, I am going to be getting rid of the old badge. The old badge you'll no longer be able to subscribe to in iTunes where there's people throwing sand, because as of the end of this week I will not be using that. This is going to be the last episode I post on that badge, and that's just to let all y'all know that subscribe to me under that badge to now please subscribe to this badge that I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to pause it. Alright, that badge I just showed y'all, that's the badge that you need to be subscribing to me. Subscribing to if you want to continue to watch me. Alright, we got some other administrative to get into. I closed on, it was March 1st. I ended up closing the thread because I fell asleep. But our very first knit and crochet along ended. The Go Red ended, and I did pick a winner. We did have 2 entries into it, which is good. I hope we have more for the next one I do. But I did pick a winner, and if you guys, I'm sure most of you do, but I will show it again if you're new. The prize for this along is being housed in a Ziploc bag in case you're allergic to dogs, but it is a 100-gram ball of darn good yarn, silk sari yarn, made out of reclaimed sari silk. It's 100 grams in her classic colorway, and this is what it looks like. It is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love working with it. And as I said, you can mix it with other yarns. So one lucky winner gets this. And I will mail it out to you. And I will also include care instructions on how to care for it, which is super easy. Another reason I love this yarn. And just for the sake of time-wise, I did draw. I did put the 2 entries in a little bucket, shook it up, and drew a winner. And that winner is SVNV73 Sandra. So Sandra made a cover. Let me get the correct information up here. I don't want to not give the correct info because what she made was absolutely gorgeous. I thought it was the cutest thing and one great idea that I would like to make for myself. Alright, hang on guys. Alright. She made a simple cover for her tablet. And it's red and it has a little button heart and it is just so cute. So SVNV73 Sandra, please get in contact with me and send me your information so that I can send you your prize. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see what you make out of this. So congratulations to you. I will get this off to you and I will also do they call it burning, or I'll put a thing also in this episode on the Rav group to let you know also that you won. So please get in contact with me so I can get this off to you. And that is all that we have for Administrati. Oh, and I forgot to say, beverage of choice, I have some diet sweet tea in my Oktoberfest mug. Alright, let's go in to finished objects. Oh, finished object from last week, my boneyard chaw. I actually washed and blocked it, and I will show you guys here. Kind of. I'm going to insert a video, but this sucker, it's made out of Carnes Simply Soft in Limelight. It was 100% acrylic. This was the Boneyard Chaw pattern from Stephen West Craftsy class. But I washed and I blocked it, and this thing grew tremendously. This is after blocking. And the way I blocked this was I washed it and dried in the dryer, and then I took my ironing board and my iron out, and I sprayed it with the water as I was blocking it because my iron has an acrylic setting. So I was able to block it that way. And then because it was still damp, I laid it completely flat to dry. I'm going to pause it here so you guys can see the little quick video I did for you for this. Oh, and also, by the way, you're going to get, I forgot that even though I have a t-shirt on under this shirt, I forgot that this shirt is big on me and you kind of can see a little of my bra, and I'm sorry. Forgive me, so I'm going to pause it now. Okay, guys, I'm inserting this in the podcast, but I wanted to show you my boneyard chaw after I washed and blocked it. So, here goes. This is what it looks like after washing and blocking. You can see how much it has grown from before. And I'll try it on right quick here for y'all. I'm very pleased with it. And this is what it looks like after being blocked. Again, I am extremely pleased with it, but I wanted to show y'all what it looked like. So, sorry about that. I forgot what shirt I had on. So, I hope y'all enjoy it. Yeah, so I'm quite pleased the way that this came out. I just love it. So, yeah. And as I said, completely easy to take care of. It was easy to wash it. And I cannot get over how much this thing grew. I'm glad I only did 18 repeats of it versus the 20 that I was originally thinking I was going to do. And I'm also looking to get a shawl pin for this. I don't have any shawl pins, and I would love to get one if somebody would give me idea where to get one. Alright, that's an old last week finished object. We'll go on to this week. Let me see if I can find it. It's a gauge swatch. I swatched, y'all! Something I hardly ever do for projects is do a gauge swatch. I know, shame on me. I should always swatch for every project I do, but I don't because I'm always afraid I'm wasting that yarn or I rip it out. Excuse me, but here is my gauge swatch. It is Red Heart Super Saver in the turquoise colorway. I am doing this for a project which I'm going to show you in Works in Progress. It's from the new issue of Crochet Today. I did the gauge swatch simply because it's a garment and I want to make sure that I'm going to at least get gauge. Normally for crochet, I never have to worry about getting gauge because I always get it. And I very rarely ever try gauge for crochet. Normally what I do is I'll make the item and then I measure it, and usually I'm right in target or I'm a little over, but I always like to have that extra room. But this time I was like, it's a garment I'm going to wear, so let me try gauge. And it calls for 4 inches. And at first I tried this way and I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right. But then when I measured this way, I was right on target for gauge. That's that. Next, my next finished object is I dyed, y'all. Not literally. I mean, I dyed yarn. So, if in other podcasts I was talking about dyeing yarn using food coloring or Kool-Aid. Well, I had a couple blank skeins or white yarn. One is Lily's Sugar and Creme. It was white or off-white, and I dyed it. This one was actually, I'm going to show you, I tried dyeing it in orange Kool-Aid, and I only used one packet, didn't like the way it came out. So I re-dyed it using 2 different Kool-Aids. I used the black cherry flavor. I used, I think, 2 packets of those, which really dark, because I guess you would call it kettle dyeing it, because I did it in a pot. And with that, I added 1 pack of their strawberry lemonade. I believe it is. Yeah, strawberry lemonade, I think it's called. And this is how it came out, and I absolutely love it. But this is how it came out. I think it came out pretty good. I love it. I cannot complain. I love how some parts of it you get like a pale color, and then you get pink and pale, and over here the same way. I love how it's not 100% consistent, as you can see. I love how it came out, and yes, it absolutely smells good. My dogs even love the smell of this. And I will recommend, like, if you're using Kool-Aid or something to dye, do wear rubber gloves because of it getting on you, like, when you're mixing it in the water. Alright, I have another one that I used Kool-Aid on, and I used fruit punch. Or was this the lemonade? No, this was the red, the cherry. I'm sorry, I used cherry. And I like how it came out like an antique rose. At first, when I dyed it, I thought it was going to come out really, really dark. I'm like, I don't want it really, really dark. But it came out to a gorgeous rose color. As y'all can see, I am extremely happy with the pink that it came out, because it's not too pale pink and it's not too dark of a pink. It's more of a rose, and I am extremely happy with that. And I do think that these 2 colors are going to go extremely perfect together for a project if I so choose to use both of them together. This is Lily Sugar and Cream as well. Again, I'm sorry, no, this was the one I used the black cherry and pink lemonade on. I'm sorry. I had my strands on. This was black cherry and pink lemonade. And this one was the cherry. I'm sorry, I had myself completely confused. This was just a straight cherry, but either way, I love the way it came out because this one was actually originally dyed with orange Kool-Aid. And I just love the way they both came out. They're going to make, they're going to make the most great project together. I love it. The other one I showed you guys, it was completely white before, is Silk Sari yarn. It's white, completely undyed, nothing. I used orange Kool-Aid to dye this, and at first I thought maybe it would come out a screaming red orange because of the sari silk and it taking so quick, the sari silk taking so quick to the dye, but it actually came out a gorgeous orange. This is the color that it came out, and I am completely in love with it. I think it came out great, and it smells of orange Kool-Aid. And again, I am happy with that it wasn't a total screaming orange, that it did come out a palish orange. It's not really pale orange, maybe if I adjust the color, because the color's not showing up completely good on here, but hopefully with editing you guys can see it's a gorgeous orange. I love it. The next one I did use food coloring on. I wanted to make an orchid or orchard purple. I don't think I added enough coloring. I did make sure to add tons of vinegar. I wanted to use grape Kool-Aid, but grape Kool-Aid is so hard to find. What happened to the classic Kool-Aid colors? But this is my purple that I dyed with food coloring. It's like a very pale purple you can see these little pops of orchid color in there. And that's how I want it to come out. So this one is going to get another dye bath. And I am going to re-dye it. So hopefully the second time around it will get a little darker, and if not, that's not how the yarn want it to be. My feeling is sometimes the yarn tells you what it wants to be. Okay, that is all I have for finished objects. Works in progress. Alright, I got, for those of you that crochet, I got in the mail last week the new issue of Crochet Today. Yay! This is April-May 2014. Oh, and I forgot to tell y'all, today is March the 6th, 2014. Today's a Thursday. The new issue. And I saw this top on here I absolutely loved. It's called Sidelines Tank. It's by Marley Bird. If any of you listen to Blog Talk Radio, the Marley Bird podcast, I call it. What's the actual name of her podcast? It is Marley Bird. It is a Yarn Thing podcast. I'm sorry, that's the name of her podcast, Yarn Thing. But anyhow, she came up with a pattern. It's called Sidelines Tank, and this is what it looks like. I absolutely love it. I think it's the cutest thing. However, I would not have made it in those colors, nor would I feel comfortable wearing any type of stripe like that. I mean, I'm kind of a big girl, and I don't think stripes would look good. But the pattern skill level is easy. It calls for Red Heart Yarn Soft, and it calls for 4 skeins, but I'm only using one color, so I don't have to worry. It's a size H 5mm crochet hook and a size I9 5.5mm crochet hook, and the yarn weight is a 4, which they classify 4 as medium, which is worsted Afghan Aran weight. And I just started it, so I'm at the very beginning of it. Again, I don't want to give too much away because this is in a magazine. You do have to buy the pattern. So I'm trying not to give too much away. I do have I'm using boy crochet hooks. And I have my 5 and my 5.5 right here. And I am using Red Heart Super Saver in the turquoise colorway. If you guys remember, I was going to use this to make another garment out of, but I didn't appeal to me. So I kept this aside for something else that appeals to me, and that's this tank top. And this is what it looks like so far. I know it looks funny. You're like, what is that? It don't look like a top. I am actually making the back, or I'm on the join shoulders part. The way they make it, it's having me make it basically from the shoulder, like this is the top of it. I know that it looks extremely funny, especially if you don't crochet. And maybe to those of you that do crochet, this looks funny, but this is what it looks like. And it is a very easy pattern so far. I am liking it, and I am glad I chose to use turquoise for it. And it is being housed in my little Puma bag that I got when I bought some Puma sneakers a while back. I kept the bags. I couldn't deem throwing them in the garbage. And they come in handy. And of course, this is where this swatch came in handy was for this crochet pattern. And I started this last night when I was listening to some podcasts, or rather catching up on podcasts. If you haven't got the latest issue of Crochet Today, I would get it. I like it. There is a couple things in there I like. And as you all know, it's hit and miss with me. Alright, next. I didn't cast on for my single-handed knit sweater, the Hawaiian Friendship sweater. I tried. It wasn't calling me. Every time I tried, I couldn't do it. I don't know why. It just wasn't. I don't know. It just wasn't calling me last week. Did you ever? I'm sure those of you got like that. However, what was calling me is Mr. Green Jeans, which I renamed Purple Paint. For those of you that are new, I am knitting Mr. Green Jeans sweater by Amy Swanson. I don't know. It's called Mr. Green Jeans. It is a free raft pattern. And this is what it looks like. That's Mr. Green Jeans. And here's Mr. Green Jeans from the back. Now, where am I? Where am I at? Ooh. Oh, here we go. Alright. So I don't lose where I'm at in the pattern. I actually made a lot of progress on it. It doesn't look like it, but I did. I am using Bennett's Choice yarn for this in the purple print colorway, color 202. This happens to be a 6-ounce skein of yarn. You can still buy this color yarn. However, it is in 4 ounces only. Benna's Choice. In purple print colorway. I bought this a while back at Ollie's. It was in my stash. I am using... Oh, this keeps... My needle keeps coming loose. Like, it comes out. I think it needs new glue. Maybe I should contact Knit Picks about it. Which is no big deal. Yeah, the glue just came loose. I can super glue... I can hot glue it myself. But anyways, I'm using the Caspians in a 5.5 millimeter knitting needle on a 60-inch cable. These are interchangeables. Let me make sure I show you guys the correct way. And let me show you the front first. As I said, it does look like a blob. This is a raglan top down, and the neck gets done last on it. But here's the front. I think that it looks pretty good. And I will show you the back. This is actually knitting up really quick. I was surprised. But here's the back. And I just started the cabling part of it. Here's the back. You guys can see. Here, where is it? Here is where I was last week. And I am to here. So I made a good bit of progress. And there was a while that I didn't work on it. Like, I didn't work on it for a day or two because I just needed a break from knitting. So I didn't. But here's the back. You can't see. Yeah, you guys can kind of see I started the cabling. It's just getting all wonky on the needles, but you can see I started cabling. Yeah, this is coming out good. You can see it. And I am doing another new to me thing on this I'm doing something new. It's new to me on this project. I'm cabling without a cable needle, which I was so scared. The first time I read the directions on here and how to do it, I was flying by the seat of my britches. I read it. I'm like, mentally, I was making this out hard. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to lose stitches. I'm going to have to pull them back up. Oh, I'm like, Nicole, just try it. Maybe it's not as hard as you thought. And wasn't as hard as I thought. I actually liked it. I enjoyed it. I am cabling them without cable needles. And I got a ways to go before I combined off the bottom of the sweater and do the sleeves. I have to go for 13 inches or as long as I want. And basically, you know, to me, patterns are open to interpretation. Because to me, the bottom, if you knit Mr. Green Jeans, the bottom of my sweater doesn't seem like it's turning out like the one in the picture. As you can see, it's like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I'm reading the pattern right. Or it could be the yarn. They called the switch to a smaller needle, but I stayed with the 5s. Because I wanted to use them and see how well I liked them. But it seems like it's following the pattern exactly, so maybe it's just me. So that is all my works in progress and finished objects. Yay! This, I think, is going to be a quick video. I hope. Anyways, I am going to go into some quick personal chatter, so if you are leaving me now, I will talk to you again next week. And if you're sticking with me, let's jump into it. Alright. Movies. Netflix. If any of you are on Netflix or you're thinking about it, please be advised, I just found out there is a Netflix scam going on where I believe it's if you go to log onto your account, it'll show that there's a problem. You need to call this 1-800 number. And you call this bogus number. They're saying that somebody did a scam and there's a virus on your computer. Somebody's using it without your authorization. And they'll say, can I get permission to access your computer? And they'll look at it and say, yep, do this, and do this. Well, that's giving them access to everything on your computer and your information. And then they'll say, okay, well, here's the charge for it. However, we're going to give you a discount that's going to come to $39.99, I think they said. And give us your credit card number. And it says, oh, if you don't feel comfortable, they're like, well, you can take a picture of your credit card. They're like, hold your credit card number up to the screen now so that we can see that it's you. Really? Or if you don't want to do that, they'll say, take a picture of it and send it here. That is a scam. I know from my years of dealing with Netflix that if there is a problem, they don't do it like that. There is an actual customer service number. But if you get something like that up, please do not call that number. Do not deal with them. It is not Netflix. It is a scam. Go and find the actual Netflix number and contact them. Alright, that being said, let's go into movies and television. Criminal Minds, I watched the three new episodes that they have, which they're pretty good. Last night's episode, I was like, wow. Almost Human. I don't know if anybody's ever watched that. It's a new show on FX, or on Fox, I should say. I actually quite happen to like it. It's supposed to take place in 2048. And what's ironic is some of the technology they're talking about they're trying to make now. Alright. A new, to me, show, which I believe airs on BBC, is called Ripper Street, which there's crimes taking place 6 months after Jack the Ripper happened. So it's actually quite interesting. I actually quite like it. I don't want to go into detail and spoil anything for anybody. Another one I like on Netflix is it's a Netflix original series. It's called Hemlock Grove. It's supposed to be, I guess, it's a tweenie, like, it takes place involving teenagers, and one is a werewolf, and he befriends a rich kid who, I can't figure out what this rich kid is. Is he a werewolf or a demon, or I can't figure out what this kid is yet, and this kid don't even know what he is. But he befriended him and they're friends. It's a series of killings that are happening there, and these two befriended each other and they're trying to figure it out. Alright, I finished the very first season of Downton Abbey. That show is good. Why didn't I see it 4 years ago? It was actually quite neat because it started where, I guess it took place like in 1912, and by the time the first season was over, I believe it's in 1914, the beginning of World War I. I was like, wow. And it's like some of the problems they face aren't so different from what we're facing today. Except I'm not a lady. I'm not Lady Nicole. I'm not a Grantham. I don't live in Downton. But it is quite, like, I just love the show. It is so, I don't know, I can't describe it. I just love it. But that's what I've been watching on TV lately. Mostly at night or on the weekends I watch it. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. I am going to let you guys go because I gotta edit this, and I will see you again next week. Bye. Bye-bye.